Hi, and welcome back to a complete mess where nothing is working today. Even my audio is bad because I apparently left the wireless mic on and it is now dead, so that's charging, so the audio on this is going to sound terrible. Doubly so because I'm just getting over a cold, so my voice sounds worse than usual. And I'm fighting this security camera. This is kind of a last-minute video about some security camera stuff since I'm trying to do a few different things here. A bit of a story on this one. This security camera was set up in the duck coop, and we noticed that some food was disappearing faster than usual. The ducks were going through food just really quickly, so looked on the recording, and there was a trio of baby raccoons getting into the duck coop, climbing over the fence, ripping open the screen door. We had a screen door on there for the summer, getting in and just cleaning out the food. They weren't messing with the birds. And in fact, our supposed attack goose was just ignoring these raccoons. So the attack goose, the defense bird, was basically useless, but at least the raccoons weren't trying to eat the ducks, which is nice. But they were eating all the food. So I got that fixed. Basically, we just shut the winter door. It's almost winter here, so they just don't get a screen door for the next little while until we can figure that out for the summer. But anyway, in the process of that, I realized this was only recording about a day's worth of video because it was recording to its local SD card. It's supposed to go to the Reolink NVR in the house. It has a wireless link. Actually, one of these gets hooked up to an external antenna on the coop, and that beams over to the house where there's another directional antenna, goes into the Reolink subnet, and yeah, basically the wireless camera, or this particular wireless camera, doesn't like to record onto the main NVR when it has its own SD card or something like that. So I thought, well, okay, I'll put a bigger SD card in there. Simple, right? I have this camera that's working perfectly. I will just upgrade things slightly. I'll put in a better SD card. I looked up what size of SD card will it take. I put in something under the maximum and everything broke. So camera doesn't work at all anymore, SD card doesn't work. That was even a name brand SD card, so yeah, that serves me right for trying to improve something that was working well enough. I should have just left well enough alone, but so I have two identical cameras. I'm trying to remember how I had this set with the NVR settings, with that subnet, with the wireless bridge, with all that stuff, and I have it written down, but my notes don't always make sense to me later on when I go back to try to read them, so struggling through getting this guy set up. Now, one thing that might help is somebody just sent me this camera tester unit. This is basically a little IP camera communications device, I guess. It's got its own LAN, it's got some video circuits, it's got VGA. So yeah, I'm going to play with this guy a little bit and see if I can use this to set up some of these cameras. So this is the first time I've used this little gadget, and I know basically nothing about it. I haven't even bothered to read the manual. I do kind of like the the physical form factor here. It's got an arm loop, so it's basically a Pip-Boy from Fallout. That's pretty awesome. Thank you again to Eric Hahn, who sent me this thing. Alright, let's see if we can find the old IP camera. Donnie has decided he's going to help with this operation. Yeah, this doesn't have Reolink as an option, so maybe Reolink wasn't around when this thing came out. Or I'm having no luck connecting to either the old or the new camera. I know the new one works on the wired network, and the instructions for the new camera are basically plug it in and it just goes. So, and the little CyberDeck here definitely sees the camera. I can ping the camera. I just can't seem to connect to it with any of the video systems. Yeah, both the OnVIF and non-OnVIF are giving me just errors. So I came out to the garage to see if I could talk to some of these cameras that are hooked up to this nightmare of wired network. And yes, I have ferrites on everything in sight because I had some PoE interference on my radio systems. So I'm trying to talk to the cameras out here in the garage that are wired by connecting to the same wired router. And instead, what this little box found is my camera in the kitchen, which is on a separate wireless network in the house, which is connected back to the garage through yet another wireless bridge. So I don't even know how it found that camera. Yes, my network is a complete mess, and if any of my high school or college networking class instructors can see this video, I'm sure they're just cringing right now. Okay, the Pro scan has found a bunch of stuff. It's found my Raspberry Pi, and it looks like it's found a couple other cameras. Now, the manual does mention this goes up to 8 megapixel security cameras. I believe mine are 12, so yeah, mine might just be a little bit too new for this thing. I think the Wi-Fi camera that I picked up in the kitchen is a little older. That's only a 4K security camera, so that might be why I'm not being able to see the newer ones. Alright, it seems like the only way to really configure this new camera is through the Reolink desktop software. I think I might now have both bullet cameras working, so I'm actually going to put the old one back in the coop. I'm going to leave the new one in here in the box. I've got it basically cloned. All the settings are cloned from the old one, so if it dies again, I can just swap them out. But the coop cam is back, and I need to clean in there. So another camera project I have in mind is I want to make an all-sky camera, and I think I'm going to try one of these. I've got a couple of these semi-failed cameras, or ones that started to act flaky, so I might use one of these if they still work. I'm not sure if they got water in them, or what happened to these exactly. If that doesn't work, then I do have some new ones, but basically an all-sky camera looks at the complete or almost complete dome of the sky with a super wide angle. And I'm going to try just putting a wide angle on one of these existing security cameras. There are special cameras and special lenses you can get for this. There's a Raspberry Pi project for this, but I kind of just want one hooked to my existing NVR that's already recording all the time. And then if something interesting happens, like a meteor or a weird plane or some kind of crazy weather, then I should have a recording of it. So this one does seem to have an issue. This is why I took it out of service, because every 30 seconds or so it makes a little chime noise. And I'm pretty sure this one got water in it, because if you look right in the lens, it's all shattered or crazed. I think it got wet and then froze or something. And this one doesn't show up on the network either. It doesn't even sing to me. So that is 2 out of the original 8 cameras that I bought with the Reolink setup that have failed. So about a 25% failure rate. I did buy another set of these because Costco had them on sale. They have a slightly different camera. This is a more square one. So I'm going to, I think, replace the failed ones with these square guys, and hopefully these last a little bit longer. And this is its default view of my office ceiling. So here's the 120-degree wide-angle lens. A little wider, but I think we can go better than that. So I'm hoping that this 205-degree fisheye will do what I want. Yeah, field of view looks okay. It's just a little blurry. I was really hoping that would work. That's what we did with this little Reolink camera, is just glue a wide angle onto it so it can see the whole kitchen. I think I have more wide-angle adapters maybe in this bin of security camera parts. I know that I had some that I made years ago from just a Pelican case and a wide-angle lens and a cell phone, and basically just made my own outdoor security cameras. Those might still be in here, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in this box. I don't even remember what I have in here. Have you ever seen a rotary dial lineman's handset? I just think that's really cool, even if there's no use for it these days. A color pocket TV. I forgot I had this. It's from Axeman Surplus. Yeah, I actually have a project in mind for that, but that's a different video. I just remembered that I got this gimmicky thing with my new camcorder, not the cat. I got this wide-angle lens, which looks terrible on the camcorder, but on the security camera, tiny bit wider, and it's definitely more sharp around the edges. I might just order something in this form factor, a big lens, but in fisheye instead of wide angle, and see if that helps. Alright, I have the all-sky camera set up, and I'm already picking up a UFO. Pretty sure that's a lens flare of some sort. This isn't the ideal setup with just that wide-angle fisheye lens stuck on top of the camera. I think I'm going to get artifacts. I'm going to get stuff like lens flares. You can tell this is a lens flare because it's opposite of where the sun is, so yeah, that is unfortunately not an alien spaceship. It's just optical trash. So I'm also setting up a new camera here in the garage that can kind of see my workbench area for 2 reasons. One, I want to monitor some of my equipment out here, like if I'm running the laser, if I'm running the CNC machine, and I'm not in the garage, I want to make sure that they're working properly, nothing's on fire, nothing's exploded. And then the second reason, if I do something particularly stupid while I'm working on a project and I'm not filming it at the moment, well, it should be captured on the NVR. A third reason for the camera is I can watch the little mice romp across the desk while I'm not in here. I can hear them in the ceiling right now. I've set some traps down at floor level and I haven't actually caught anybody yet, so I want to see if they're actually coming out of the ceiling and going into the main part of the garage. So my new Reolink cameras are still giving me some trouble. I've not actually gotten one to work in the garage yet. I plugged one in upstairs for that all-sky camera, and that was one of the new cameras. And it worked fine, just right out of the box, plug it in, didn't even have to change any passwords, it just magically worked. Plugged in the next one in the garage, nothing, won't show up on the network. Plugged in another one, nothing, won't show up on the network. This was supposed to be like a half a day's project, and now it's turned into just a week-long chore. And this thing is supposed to be a 24 channel in VR, but I do have 16 cameras, or it's seen 16 cameras in the past, and it doesn't auto-remove the old ones, which is also frustrating. Maybe it's limited to 16. Maybe it's actually just a 16 channel in VR, even though the marketing and the box said it was 24, but I guess I could locally connect to it and delete some of those extra cameras, see if that helps. That did it. So I went in and deleted the extra cameras on the Reolink locally, and now the new ones showed up. The old ones are actually still showing up here in the app, which is still frustrating. I still can't delete them from here. Yeah, so I'm losing a little respect for Reolink. It seems like their supposed 24 channel in VR is really just a 16 channel in VR, and there's no way to delete old cameras, so you can never change out a camera on a Reolink in VR, or you'll always have the ghost of the old one floating around your system. Yeah, that's just poor programming on their part. Speaking of poor programming, I screwed up on this video. I meant to shoot a couple scenes using the new security cameras to show that, yes, they are working, like this one here in the garage. I actually tried filming a couple different things using different audio voiceovers. Some of the cameras do audio, some don't. Some of them I had to do the audio separate. Anyway, I screwed up some stuff on that and basically lost all of that footage. So now I'm having to reshoot things like this scene in the garage, wearing different clothes and probably with fuzzier hair. So now this will have to be inserted into the middle of the video, and the continuity is all screwed up. That's just my typical editing shenanigans, I guess. Let's see how much stuff I can haul up this ladder. Hi, Donnie, are you helping? You're such a helpful kitty. All right, I think that's about it for this project. I've got all the new cameras put in. Whenever I do one of these camera videos, somebody says, oh no, you're giving away your secret camera pointing locations. Everybody's gonna know what your cameras can see. You know what, I move them after I film them. I'm not showing you guys exactly what they're looking at. Aside from this one up here, you know exactly where that one's looking, and it's catching me at the workbench. So I also have about 150% coverage of cameras around the house, so each camera is seeing a little bit of overlap with other ones. Plus, everything I own is worth like $1. If anybody's following this channel to rob me, they know everything I own came out of a dumpster, so I don't really have anything that's worth stealing. Plus, we have a goose, which is well known to be the most dangerous animal and will absolutely murder you for fun. Anyway, that's about all we've got for this video. I know I've been putting out a lot of these kind of random filler type videos, and I promise we'll get to some good content soon. I'm just catching up on a ton of chores and household projects like these cameras. So we will have some big projects coming up. In fact, I'm in the middle of some big projects here on the workbench, so hopefully we'll have some footage, maybe even from the new camera out here in the garage, showing me working on some of this stuff. In the meantime, thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.